I'm Katie Swan from Pocatello, Idaho, and we just got back from the Dodge Pro Rodeo final, and we went with friends of ours, and he forgot his wife's birthday. So we're going to watch their kids tonight, and they're going to go out, and then I wanted to do something for her and help them get out of the doghouse. So what we're going to do is a raspberry mousse that's a little heavier than a mousse, but not quite a cheesecake. Okay. What we're going to need is about a cup of smashed up vanilla wafers, 3 tablespoons butter, about a 1/4 a cup of chopped almonds, and then 2 tablespoons of sugar for the crust. And then what we're going to need is some plum jam, which we made, but you don't have to. You could always buy it. We're going to need a cup of sugar, 3/4 a cup of cream, which we're going to beat, and then 3 eggs, so separated into their whites and their yolks, and then we're going to use 8 ounces of the Philly cream cheese. And then the hardware we're going to need is a bowl. You could use an 9 by 13 pan, or I'm going to use a springform pan, and then some beaters. So to start with, I've got about a cup's worth of smashed vanilla wafers. You could use graham crackers if you preferred. I don't own a food processor, so I'm going to use my good old muscles here and just kind of crush it up until it's pretty fine. I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of butter in here, which of course makes it really great. Then I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of sugar. And last, I'm going to add a 1/4 a cup of almonds. You could omit the almonds if you needed. So I'm going to stir that all together. This just makes the crust of it. This was a recipe my aunt has made for all of our weddings, like all of our showers or baby showers. So I've had this since I was a little kid and I just love it. This is not exactly her recipe. The plum part is mine, as well as the Philadelphia cream cheese, the strawberry version. So once it gets wet, nice and wet, I'm going to pour it into the springform pan. If you didn't have a springform, just a regular 9 by 13 would work too. And I found that this is up to your taste. If you like a better crust to foam ratio, then go ahead and make the crust a little thicker. So once I get it in the pan, let's see if I can show you without dumping it everywhere, I'm just going to press it into the bottom, and I like to use a cup to do that. If it doesn't look like enough butter, hang in there for just 5 minutes or so. It soaks it up a lot. So just make a flat bottom. And that's all you have to do for the crust. This part of the recipe is really easy. It just has to happen in 3 separate parts. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your Philly cream cheese. I've let this warm up quite a bit, so it's not going to be so hard. You know, sometimes on our budget we have to buy stuff that's generic, but I don't think it's worth buying generic cream cheese. Sorry to the cream cheese makers. But it really has to be Philly if we're going to do it. The consistency is better, that creaminess is better, the decadence it adds, and it doesn't separate. I've had some kind of generic cream cheeses that I've bought not lend that creamy texture, just really almost give it a granular flavor, and that's not what we're looking for. So this is 8 ounces of Philadelphia cream cheese, strawberry. I've also made this recipe with just the plain, and that works really well too. So 8 ounces of that, 1 cup of sugar, and then 3 egg yolks. If you're nervous about the egg yolks, you could buy the imitation ones that have been flash pasteurized. We put this in the freezer to set for 3 hours, and I've eaten it all my life, so I've never been too worried about the egg yolks. So I've got it all in here. I'm just going to mix it up. This gives it a really kind of pretty color and texture. If strawberries were in season, I would definitely try to add some strawberries here, but I didn't want to ruin the dish by having strawberries that were too sour. So that is it for this part of the filling. Okay, now for the second part. What you're going to do is take that whipped cream, and if you wanted to buy Cool Whip, you need about 1.5 cups of the Cool Whip. I like that too. I just tend to like this a little bit better. It seems to hold together a little bit better. I beat this. Be really careful. It goes from not being ready to being ready. And then you'll have butter if you're not careful. I only went about 4 minutes to get it to this stage, so this is 1.5 cups of whipped cream. I then also beat the egg whites into stiff peaks, so they're going to just show you that they're done because they've got these nice little peaks that look like ski hills. I'm going to fold these in together. So carefully fold that in, trying not to smash them too much. So just when you think they're kind of mixed, then you're going to add the thicker recipe. So I'm going to add just a little bit at a time. Mix. Add a little bit more. Mix it again. It's a really pretty peach color. I wish the camera kind of did it a little bit better justice than it's doing it. Isn't it funny that you can turn on a camera and normally not be nervous standing in your own kitchen talking to yourself, and you turn on a camera and you're still just by yourself talking like always and you're nervous? Well, anyway. So scrape all this out. Fold it together. I really should be using a bigger thing to fold with, but oh well. Then very last one I'm going to do, and I don't think I mentioned how much plum jelly to use. This is 1 cup of plum jelly, so I'm going to take, probably half of it. Put it in there. And if I'm honest, I did not think I liked plums. I thought they were okay, didn't dislike them, but a lady at my work had a plum tree, and I thought that that would be kind of a fun little thing to do, to go with my 6-year-old and my 3-year-old and go pick plums, and in the earnestness of trying to show them that food comes from someplace. So we picked bags and bags and bags of plums, and then I didn't know what to do with them, and I happened to be standing in line at Fred Meyer, and a lady was buying raspberries, and she said she made plum raspberry jelly. So that's what we did, and it is absolutely fabulous. I did not know it would be so good. So you're giving it this marbled look, getting it all mixed in here. Again, you're just going from the cutting into the bottom and folding over, cutting into the bottom and folding over, trying to be real gentle with it. And that's really it. So I'm going to put this into my bowl, into my springform pan. Just spread it out till it's even. Then I'm going to take the rest of the plum jelly and kind of drizzle it over the top. This makes it look really pretty. So I've got a knife, and I'm just going to swirl it. So anyway, you got the knife, give it a really pretty swirl design, and then I put it in the freezer for 3 hours. When I pull it back out, we're going to let it sit 10 minutes to kind of soften a little bit, take the springform off, and then serve it. What I will do when I serve it, though, is put it with a little bit of really dark chocolate syrup. If you have fans that aren't chocolatey syrup, it definitely doesn't need the chocolate, but it's really quite good. So I hope you enjoy this. And here is the finish. I have done it with chocolate. You could leave that off if you don't want to, but I'm hoping it got our friend out of the doghouse.